Good afternoon, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. And guys, we're here with another retro cover rewind. This is the 5th part of Spider-Woman, the original series. And this will wrap up the original series. And then we'll do a retro cover rewind on something new. But again, to tell you a little bit about what this series is about, this is about remembering the fantastic artists that worked on these covers that drew us in to the great stories inside. Because you need to catch it. The covers are the catch. And I just like to celebrate these cover artists that drew our imaginations and our attention into these books that became our favorites and many people's favorites. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's appreciate these artists. And of course, we're going to start out with one of my favorite artists from back in the day, and still a favorite artist today, but he's definitely my favorite Spider-Woman artist of this era, and that is Steve Leialoha. So we got issue 41, and a great cover here with a dragon. And of course, you know that this portends that Morgan Le Fay is going to return to Spider-Woman, one of her original nemesis in the series. So really cool. And Morgan Le Fay would pop up a few times in this series, and we'll get to more of that a little bit later. But fantastic cover by Steve Leialoha. And again, this original series had so much cool dark themes to it. I mean, that dragon's kick-ass. But you had Werewolf by Night, you had the Needle, you had so many cool villains. Here you had Viper, you had the Samurai. You have a guy in here called the Judas Man. Just lots of stuff going on. So this is another Steve Leialoha cover. And again, Spider-Woman in peril. You got rain, you got danger, you got a whole bunch of stuff happening. The perfect kind of Bronze Age cover that shows you that you're in for a ride once you get past this cover and get inside the book. Next up, we have issue number 42. Sorry, this one I just showed. Issue number 43. And again, Steve Leialoha. And a great cover. And again, I just love this, right? There's Spider-Woman. Looks like she's down and out. You know she's going to make a comeback, but how? You're going to have to, get inside these pages, take a look, read it, and find out. And again, a fun cover, lots going on. Spider-Woman in the clutches of evil. How will she survive? Next up, we have issue number 44. And again, Spider-Woman in the clutches of evil, and it looks like she's being changed. What is going on? The only one way to find out, right? So Steve Leialoha again on the cover. You got fire, you got Spider-Woman in peril, you got her being changed into something here. You got to find out what's happening by getting inside the pages and taking a look for yourself. Fantastic, fantastic. Man, I love this series so much. I've had so much fun revisiting these covers, and I'm probably going to read this series again for a third time. I just love this series. Next up, we have a fun issue here because, you had a lot of heaviness, a lot of seriousness. Every once in a while, you need a little comedy break. You need something a little more lighthearted. And you got that with Spider-Woman 45. Again, Steve Leialoha cover, but this had an Impossible Man appearance. And, of course, that's him as Spider-Man. And he's trying to be Jessica Drew's sidekick, and they're trying to save Impossible Woman. And it's just a fun, fun issue. And a great cover by Steve Leialoha, who doesn't only need to do Spider-Woman in peril, but he can do a little bit of comedy too, and it works just fine. So great, great issue. And next up, getting back to a little bit heavier, if the Marandroids don't get you, the Kingpin will. Right back to being serious. All right, again, another Steve Leialoha cover, and Spider-Woman fighting for her life on the cover. Again, drawing you inside to see how she's going to survive the odds against her. Those Mandroids are tough. And then you have the Kingpin. Forget about it. Next up, this is a great cover by an artist that I really haven't seen around a lot, but Brian Postman is the artist. And you have Joseph Rubinstein as the inker. And again, what was this? Daddy Longlegs. I was thinking the Tall Man, but this is Daddy Longlegs. Another really obscure, really weird villain that always seemed to work in the old Spider-Woman Jessica Drew books. They just had some crazy villains, and it was a lot of fun. But there you go. And next up, we have the return of Gypsy Moth in issue 48. Again, Brian Postman cover, but this time Brett bleeding on the inks. And things are heating up for Spider-Woman. So, great cover. Great couple covers by Brian Postman there. And then issue 49, the penultimate issue of this series. Of course, a classic because you have Tiger and Spider-Woman. Again, Brian Postman on the cover with Sam De La Rosa doing the inks, and just a fantastic action shot. And you know they're both heroes. You know they're going to end up fighting together. But back in the day, and still today, there's still the trope where heroes meet. They got to fight each other first before they realize they're on the same side. But there's a little bit more than that going on in here. But I'm not going to tell you about it. You got to read it. All right, next up, the last issue. And this is Elliot R. Brown right there. And just a cool cover. And, a photo and, a sad end to this series. They ended up thinking that they had to kill off the Spider-Woman character to give it some emotional impact. Of course, only to bring her back later in the Avengers. But when you get to the end of this and you're a Spider-Woman fan and Spider-Woman ends up dying, you're a little burnt, you're a little mad. Great story though. Again, Morgan Le Fay in this one, along with some other characters like Gypsy Moth and Tigra, a few others as well. But a fun wrap up, if not a tragic wrap up. All right, and then you're just hoping that somehow they're going to bring this character back, because she couldn't be dead for good, could she? It's comics, so of course not. But when she got back, that was a fun story in the Avengers. Issues, I think it was 140, 141, 142. I got them all over there somewhere. They're a lot of fun. Multiple copies, because it was the return of Jessica Drew. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know if you like the covers you saw today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this series, and I'll be back with a new Retro Cover Rewind series, probably later next week, and we'll start diving into a new series. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep it casual.